Today, we are diving into an absolutely incredible story that just shatters all the stereotypes. It's about one person living in two completely different worlds, and proving you don't have to fit neatly into just one box. So, let's jump right in. And you know, the best place to start a story like this? It's right in the middle of the action, at the absolute climax of one of her two lives. Okay, so picture this. The date is November 23rd, 2024. The event? It's the final of the Road to UFC tournament. The stakes could not be any higher. We're talking a professional contract with the biggest MMA organization in the world on the line. The fight is super tense. It's back and forth, neck and neck. For a moment, it really looks like defeat is a real possibility. Then, out of nowhere, it happens. She throws this lightning-fast head kick, and her opponent just drops, instantly. A stunning, unbelievable knockout. Now that's the kind of finish that makes a fighter a star, right? But what if I told you that the person who just threw that devastating kick spends her days listening to heartbeats and comforting sick kids? What if this warrior's journey actually starts in a doctor's office?
So, let's rewind a bit and find out how on earth these two completely opposite worlds came to exist inside of one person, the amazing Shi Ming.
This is really the heart of her story. On one side, you've got the doctor. Calm, precise, a healer. Society expects her to be thoughtful, gentle. But on the other side, you have the fighter. Fierce, aggressive, a warrior. That world demands toughness and a real appetite for risk. You know, these aren't just descriptions. They're rigid boxes that society builds. People think a doctor has to be one way and a fighter has to be another. There's just no overlap. But Shi Ming, she just refused to accept that. She decided she was going to be both. But trying to live two lives, especially two that seem to cancel each other out, comes with a whole lot of challenges. And for Shi Ming, it meant keeping a huge, life-changing secret.
So what did this double life actually look like? Well, by day, she was in the hospital, wearing that white coat, listening to patients' hearts. But by night, she was stepping into the iron cage, swapping her stethoscope for gloves, and getting ready to fight.
And get this, for years she kept this whole part of her life a complete secret from the people who mattered most, her own family. She was terrified they'd be heartbroken, that they just wouldn't understand why their daughter, the doctor, was risking her life in a cage. Which brings us right back to that night, November 23rd. This wasn't just a fight for a contract. This was the moment her two separate worlds were about to collide in the most public way you can possibly imagine. The pressure is just immense. I mean, the fight is incredibly close, and for a few moments there, it seriously looks like she might lose. Everything she's been working for in secret is just hanging by a thread. And then it comes. That one single perfect moment of action. The head kick, the knockout, victory. The crowd is just losing its mind. But Shi Ming, she doesn't celebrate. She doesn't even raise her arms. Instead, her doctor's instincts just completely take over. She rushes over to her opponent on the mat, kneels down, and the first thing she asks the medics is, will she be okay? In her moment of greatest victory as a fighter, her very first thought was that of a healer. Just wow. And here is the final twist. Her family was watching the whole thing on TV. In that one instant, they saw it all. Their daughter the fierce champion, and their daughter the compassionate doctor. Just like that, her secret was out.
That night, Shi Ming didn't just win a fight. Nope, she won the freedom to be her complete self, and she sent a really powerful message to the entire world.
And for that incredible performance and that unbelievable display of character, she was awarded the Performance of the Night bonus. We're talking $50,000. And the rewards were huge. She got that professional UFC contract, the prize money, and of course, massive global media coverage. But maybe the most important thing? Her story started inspiring thousands of young women in China and all around the globe.
Her message was loud and clear, and it's really summed up perfectly in this quote. In a world that so often asks you to shrink yourself to fit into a neat little box, she just said no. She was going to create her own role.
You see, Shi Ming didn't just beat an opponent that night. She defeated an idea. The idea that you have to choose, that you have to be just one thing. She proved that compassion and courage, healing and fighting, they can exist in the same person. A woman can be all of these things at once. Her story really leaves us with a powerful question to think about for ourselves. We all have different passions, different skills, different sides of our personality that maybe society tells us don't quite fit together. So the question is, what two worlds can you combine?